He led her to a quiet garden behind the palace. The moon bathed everything in silver light. "Why do you avoid me?" Obina asked her. Ifanyoma looked away. "I do not avoid you, my prince." He chuckled, crossing his arms. "Then why do you run whenever I come near?" She said nothing. She could not tell him the truth, that she was a curse upon his family, that she had come to end his bloodline, that she had already taken the lives of many. "I see the way you look at me," Obina continued, stepping closer. "You try to hide it, but I can see it. I understand we barely know each other, but this is a case of love at first sight. From the first day I saw you in the crowd at my welcome party, I knew you were meant for me, Ifanyoma." Before she could respond, a loud horn sounded in the distance, signaling a meeting in the throne room. Obinna gave her one last look before turning away. She stood there, breathless. She shook her head, angry at herself. The prince was making her weak. She had to focus. She had to kill the king. Nothing else mattered. At least, that's what she kept telling herself. But deep inside, she had already begun to change. Ifanyoma forced herself to forget the prince. She had spent too many years planning her revenge to be distracted now. Her mother's death, the suffering of her kind, the blood she had spilled. It all led to one thing, the fall of the king. So she turned her attention back to her mission. For weeks, she studied the palace. She learned the king's protection was not just from his guards, it was spiritual. His body was fortified by the rituals performed during his coronation. No ordinary weapon could harm him, no poison could touch him, no curse could break him. But Ifanyoma knew one thing: every man has a weakness, and soon she found it. One night while scrubbing the palace floor, she overheard two elders whispering in the great hall. "The king's protection must be renewed soon," one said. "Yes," the other agreed. "The full moon is near. Without the ritual, his spiritual shield will weaken." Ifanyoma heart leaped. This was the chance she had been waiting for. She needed to strike before the rituals was performed. Once his protection was weakened, she could finally kill him. She had to be patient and wait for the right moment. But while she plotted in the shadows, the prince watched her in admiration. Obinna was foolishly in love. Obinna, the only son of the man she was born to destroy. He was tall and dark, with broad shoulders and a smile that melted the proudest hearts. His voice was deep, smooth and firm. Every word carried authority, yet a softness that made even the strictest guards smile. Whenever he walked past her, her heart raced. She noticed everything: the swing of his sword, the strength in his steps, the ease in his laughter, and something inside her kept shifting. She kept telling herself it was nothing, just a distraction, a test. But as days turned into weeks and her eyes followed him, she would catch herself staring from behind pillars, hiding behind curtains, listening when he laughed, observing when he spoke. And one of those days their eyes met. She had just entered the garden to fetch water from the royal well when he turned suddenly, and their eyes locked. His gaze did not waver. She bowed quickly. She bowed quickly and turned to leave when Prince Obinna called out her name, Ifanyoma, but she did not listen. She ran as fast as her leg could carry her. That night she could not sleep again. The sound of her name in his voice repeated in her mind like a chant. She sat upright, clutching her knees to her chest. "This is not love," she whispered to herself. "This is weakness. I must not fail." But love is a patient hunter. It crept into her like smoke. The prince began speaking to her more often, asking questions, helping her carry heavy jugs. Once, he brought her mangoes from the royal grove, saying he noticed she liked them. No one had ever noticed such thing before. One evening, he found her crying behind the palace kitchen. The memories of her python mother had returned like a flood, breaking her defenses. He didn't ask questions. He only sat beside her, quiet, present. From that moment, her chest ached whenever she saw him. Then came the day he touched her hand, a small thing, just a brush of finger as he helped her up after she slept. But his touch burned through her like fire. She avoided him after that, but the prince did not give up. She avoided him again after that, but the prince did not give up. Every chance he got, he tried to speak to her. He asked her why she looked sad, why she avoided him. He told her he dreamed of her. She said nothing. She ran and cried and prayed to the forest goddess. "Take this away from me," she begged. "Take him away from my heart. I cannot love a man. I cannot touch him. If I do, I will die. I will lose my powers. My mission will fail. Please, Queen Goddess. Please, Queen Goddess." But love does not leave so easily. Each day after that, he searched her out. Each day he tried to understand her silence. Her words crumbled a little more. Until that night, the moon was at its brightest. She was walking back to her quarters when he called her name. "Ifeanyioma, wait." She stopped, her heart pounding. He stepped closer, his voice a low whisper. "Tell me, what have I done? Tell me why you keep running. If you don't want me, say it. I will walk away. But if there is even a little part of you that feels what I feel, say something." She said nothing. She only stared. Her mind screamed, "Run!" But her body stood still. His eyes searched hers, pleading, burning, and without warning, she reached up and kissed him. It was soft, fierce, long, a kiss full of question and sorrow and surrender. When she pulled away, she saw the surprise in his eyes, the joy, the wonder, but she did not wait. She turned and ran, her heart pounding like thunder, tears blinding her, breath heavy with terror. She ran to her chambers, slammed the door, and dropped to her knees. "What have I done?" she whispered. "Oh, mother, what have I done?" That night, as she wept, the trees outside her window whispered a terrible truth. The python was falling in love, and the price of love was death. Ifeanyioma paced the length of her small chamber, her heart pounding like the war drums of Umudim village. Her lips still burnt from the kiss she gave Prince Obinna, and her hands trembled as though they had touched fire. It has not been part of the plan. She was supposed to get close to the king, close enough to strike when his protection were weakest. That was what the forest goddess demanded the night she made the oath by the river bank. Her serpent body coiled and strong, her fangs soaked in sorrow. "I will give you the form of a maiden," the goddess had said, her voice soft and terrifying. "You will be born as a human, but you will never love a human. especially not a man. If ever you fall in love with one and give your body to him, you will die by the morning. Your power will leave you and your vengeance will turn to dust. Ifeanyioma had agreed without blinking. Love was for the weak. Her heart belonged to her slain mother, and the cries of 1,000 pythons that echoed in her blood. She would not fail, but she had not prepared for Obinna. "Why, forest goddess?" she whispered. "Why give me a heart if I was never meant to use it? Why give me this body if I was never meant to feel it burn?" She knew what was happening. Her powers were sleeping. She could feel it. The snake that once crawled in her belly with calm assurance now stirred in fear. Her skin, once smooth and cool like river stones, now pricked with unfamiliar heat. She was becoming more human than spirit, and that meant danger. Meanwhile, Prince Obinna could not stop smiling. He had felt her lips on his. He had seen the fire in her eyes. She loved him. She truly loved him. He rushed to his sick father's chamber that night, where the king lay coughing and frail, the once mighty warrior now a shadow of himself. "Father," he said, kneeling beside the bed, "I have found her, the woman I want to marry. She is not a princess, she is a maid, but her spirit is strong, her heart is pure, and I love her." The king chuckled weakly. "A maid, you say? Obinna, you always had a strange eye for treasure. What is her name?" "Ifeanyioma," the prince whispered with pride. "The most beautiful name I've ever had." The king's eyes clouded for a moment. The name felt strangely familiar, but he could not place it. He coughed again and gave his blessings with a tired smile. And so, as one heart bloomed, another drowned. Ifeanyioma, after crying and praying and cursing the gods, stood at the edge of the sacred pond that night, her reflection dancing in the moonlight. She knelt trembling. "Great mother of the forest," she prayed, voice cracking, "take this love from me. Take it before it kills me. I beg you, do not let me fail. I must avenge my mother. I must fulfill my oath." But the water remained still, the forest remained silent, and deep within her, something shifted again, an even more dangerous storm rising. If you're enjoying this story, please subscribe and like, and most especially, leave me an encouraging comment. Thank you. The moon over Umudin that night was full and red. Oji Dinanya, a blood moon, the kind that makes elders close their windows and mothers pour libations. Something ancient stirred. In the deepest hour of the night, the palace slept. But in the king's sacred chamber, Ifeanyioma moved silently, her footsteps soft like mist. She had served the palace for months, and now she has the prince's trust and love, with humility and beauty, hiding the fury that brewed in her blood. But tonight she feared herself. She feared dying without accomplishing her wish. The love that she had for the prince was beginning to weaken her, and her body burned and desired his touch. And if by any means she gives in to her desires, she will be dead, and her mission failed. So that night, she was determined to kill the king by all means. The king was sick, old and close to his grave, but she wanted him to die by her hands. In the same manner, he had killed her python mother and wiped away her kind. Ifeanyioma slipped into the king's chamber. He lay weak and still, his breath shallow. She stepped closer, her heart pounding. She had killed before. This was no difference. It was not a scream that came first. It was a hiss. Her back ached unnaturally. Her skin rippled like water. Scale emerged from her waist downwards, replacing flesh. Her leg fused and coiled. From behind, a thick gold python tail thrashed forward and slammed the chamber doors shut. The king opened his eyes weakly, unable to shout. She had distracted the guards by using spell to make them hunt after invisible snakes. Now half human, half python, eyes glowing gold, her hands becoming clouds. She didn't use the knife tucked in her wrapper. No, that would have been too kind. With primal fury, she wrapped around him and sank her teeth into his throat, tearing into the very place he had kissed her mother goodbye before sending her to die. The king goggled, choking, eyes wild, blood spraying in the mat onto sacred floor. She groaned, not like a woman, but like a beast reborn from pain. The door burst open. Obinna rushed in. Behind him stood two of his personal guards, his heart pounding, lips parted in disbelief. He saw her, covered in blood, fangs burned. The king's lifeless body slumped in her coils, his throat a ragged ruin of meat and vengeance. She looked up, caught in the moment between rage and satisfaction, and their eyes met. "Ifeanyioma," Obinna whispered. Taking a step back, she dropped the body and hissed his name. The guards raised their spear, trembling. No one moved. No one breathed. Obinna stepped forward, shaking. "Why? Why this? Who are you?" In tears, Ifeanyioma replied, "Your father killed my mother. Your father killed my people. Your people killed all my kind. I am a python, the only surviving python in Umudim. I reside in the forest of Eke, where your father had ended the life of my mother and my innocent clan. Your father destroyed my kind. Even though we maintained our distance from humans, you still came for our heads. Olisa, the goddess of the forest, granted me the power to be born as human, just to take my revenge. I was the one that killed the villagers. I am the mystery snake. I killed them through selling charmed beads made by my earthly mother. I can't tell you all I have done, but I want you to know I'm not human like you. Your love weakened me. I had to do it now or never. I'm so sorry for putting you through the pain. I would have killed you, as I have planned, but I fell helplessly in love with you. And for the love I have for you, I will spare your life, and I will spare your people. But I cannot let the man that killed my mother go scot-free." Obinna's face twisted, confused and speechless. "But I loved you," he said. She was silent, her tail twitched. Then she slowly shifted back into her full human form. Blood soaked her wrapper, and her hips trembled now, not with fury, but with grief. "And I loved you too, Prince Obinna," she said. Prince Obinna, angered, feeling betrayed, collected a spear from one of his guards and moved angrily to strike Ifeanyioma, and accidentally Ifeanyioma beat him. The python venom went very fast through his veins, and in splits of seconds he stopped breathing. Ifeanyioma heartbroken, in tears, she never wanted to kill him, collected the spear from one of the guards and killed herself.